Hi and welcome back to the channel. God, it's been about 6 months since my last video, 4 or 5 months at least. So the trip to Norway and Sweden is a matter of days away. Where am I now? I think it's the 10th of May and I go on the 2nd of July. So this is the shakeout day. This is a one-night trip down into Surrey to do a night on the bike to see if everything works. So far, everything's going okay. So you can see the bike now is ready to go. This is exactly how it's going to be going. I've got both side boxes on. I've taken the top box off and I've put this is a Lone Rider 50-litre bag, which has got the tent and all the camping kit in it. I've mounted on the back here a plastic box that I've got my drone controller. I've got a Canon M50 in there. I've got a 360 camera and I've got a spare lens, so I can get at them quickly, because I'm working on the theory that if I actually want to do any filming on this thing, then it's got to be easy to get the camera out. Got another box on the other side, a tank bag, and then I've mounted on the front here, we've got the normal Nav 6, the BMW Nav 6, which this bike comes equipped with, or equipped for. I've mounted my phone on the dash using a quad lock that will allow me to easily mount the phone there, move it around as necessary, because I want to have both the Nav 6 and the phone showing a GPX route, one zoomed in and one zoomed out. You'll see that I've changed the BMW handguards for bark busters because they're much stronger, and if I do actually hit anything, the BMW ones are just plastic. I don't want it to snap. The rest of the bike, you might see on the trip, and I'll show you some pictures in a second I've just taken on the way down. I'm trying to work out a way of filming on the trip without stopping and starting all the time. So I've mounted on the bike 3 cameras. There's one forward facing here. There's one backward facing here, which won't be here for real. I'm just trying the system out at the moment. This backward one will be mounted somewhere up here so I can show myself basically from the front. And you can't see it from where you are at the moment, but on the other side here on the rear box there's also a camera mounted on the rear pannier. Now the reason I've done that is because this switch here on the front here, which will be properly mounted when I get round to doing it, initiates all 3 cameras at one push of a button. It's a really clever system. They're all wired together, hence all this crappy wiring around the place, which I haven't sorted out. This is just a trial trip. They're all wired together by a company called wiredremote.com. It's wired-remote.com. It's designed for rally cars, but actually it's perfect for this. So at one push of this button, all the cameras come on, they all start to film, and then at the next push of the button, they all go off. And the good thing about that is, if you know about GoPros, they're using the standby function. So it means that you're not using your battery up. So basically you can turn the cameras on at the push of a button. So if you suddenly see something that looks good, you can take a picture of it. All 3 cameras come on, so you can cut around and it's not all the same shot. I've changed the screen on this bike from a GSA screen to a GS screen. That's because I want sun protection on the motorways, but I don't want to headbutt it during the off-road phase if I face plant into the screen. So I've left that. So that's basically a smaller version of the GS screen. Other than that, the bike is pretty much stock. I've got one of those crud catcher things on the front mudguard, or the rear part of the front mudguard. I've got a small bit of perspex on there to protect the screen. I've added this bar here to the crash bars, because otherwise this bar here, which is stock, this doesn't have anything supporting it. So if you fall over, this is going to hit the engine casing. There is a big rubber thing here, but I just thought this seemed sensible. This is a Wunderlich, kind of more for looks than anything else. That basically just protects the valve cover. Coming further back, obviously you've got the boxes. This box here, this is a Sergeant seat. I think I've always liked Sergeant seats. Having said that, I changed it because the one on the RT is a bit shit. But actually the stock seat on the GS, I actually think, or the GSA, I actually think is quite good. So maybe I didn't need to change that. You will notice, I'll show you a picture of it in a minute, this rear box is not sitting on the stock rack. Well, it is sitting on the stock rack, but there's a plate sitting on top of it to give it a bit more surface area. Other than that, I have mounted 2 fuel containers, one for oil and one for fuel, just in case I happen to run out. And then we've got the other box on the other side, and I think that's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty much stock. The kit I've chosen to bring for cooking is Sea to Summit. What you can see there is pretty much all Sea to Summit. The orange things are basically bowls and frying pans, that sort of thing. The thing on the actual cooker is a kettle. They all collapse down and they're really impressive. They're well made. There you go. So this is a Sea to Summit magic trick. Now on the table here, again this is a table 1 from Elinnox. It's actually the hard top version which folds down, but because there's 2 different versions. So on the left here you've got a non-stick frying pan. Just above that you've got the orange one on the left is a plate which doubles as a cutting board. In the middle you've got a kettle for boiling small quantities of water. You've got a bowl, the kettle is obviously the light green one in the middle. And just south of that with the orange again is a bowl. Top right you've got a cup, and then you've got a non-stick sort of frying pan, but also allows you to do pasta, that sort of stuff. Kind of steaming stuff slightly with the top, which allows you to sieve the water out of it. And that, by the wonders of magic and nothing more, fits down into that. I don't think that's too bad, is it? That's quite a good design, and they all seem pretty functional. They're not wobbly and floppy, and the cup's quite usable. So I'm pretty impressed with all that. On the bike again here. I forgot to say yesterday I've made a couple of minor changes. You won't be able to tell from here, but behind the bark busters I've tipped the bars forward slightly. You might be able to see that the clutch and brake reservoirs are slightly leant forward. That's just to make it slightly easier when you're standing up. I have fitted one other thing which occurred to me yesterday, and that is on the gear lever there. That is a Touratech gear lever, because I couldn't get my boots between the gap between the foot peg and the gear lever last time, so I just changed it. It's just a little bit bigger. But other than that, that's the bike. Next time you see it, hopefully, it'll be heading off to Europe for 3 weeks, or 3.5 weeks. So we're back. Overall a great success. I've got to ditch some stuff, need some more space to carry food and things like that. All the technology works, and I've got a slight problem with the cameras, but I'll sort that out for next time. Riding with the weight, you just get used to it actually. It's not too bad at all. Seems to ride pretty normally. Overall, I think that's a pretty good success. I'll tweak a few bits and then we'll be ready to go.